Hi everyone, you're very welcome to this week's episode of Carlisle Padre Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the notifications bell so you don't miss any future videos and updates. This week I'm delighted to be joined by two of my previous guests that we had on the podcast already this year. Jake Abraham, very first guest, and Key Taylor. And they've come on just a bit of a catch up and promote their upcoming Liverpool FC Legends night in the Montgomery Bar in the World on the 20th of December. So guys, first and foremost, thanks for coming back on the show. It's great to see you again. How have you been?
Thanks for having us, Podrick. Good to see you again. How are you, Keith? Good to see you, mate.
Good to see you, buddy.
Great stuff. So just before we get stuck into it, we'll do this the usual. Cheers and good health and happy Christmas. So Keith's in the Guinness tonight, I think. Jake's in the water. I'm on Anfield. So
Cilantro.
Gotcha. So maybe we could just start by telling us a bit about the Legends Night. Keith, you've put a lot of effort into organising this night coming up on the 20th of December. So could you maybe just give a rundown of what's going to be happening on the night, who's going to be there, and what can people expect?
Yeah, of course. So just very quickly, I used to be involved with the former Liverpool Players Association many years ago, back to 2004-05. Used to organise it over in the Crown Plaza in the city centre. I used to be involved with the Liverpool Echo at the time. I was operations manager over there. So I used to work alongside Ian St. John and Ron Yates at the time, and then a few of the lads. Got to know them all. So I decided to start it again. Started Black Sheep's sports events. And it involves Phil Thompson, Dave Fairclough, John Aldridge, and Jason McAteer. We've got Gary Skyner doing the comedian. So we'll be spending some time sort of telling some jokes and that. We've got Jake there as well to sort of being a host and support for us.
More comic relief, is it?
As well, so it's good.
So it's one of the reasons for Jake being there is this is it's like a pilot event, really. So we've only got like 100 people going. It's only allowed 100 people. But I wanted the lads to be there. Also, I just wanted to say that we're doing a raffle, and part of the proceeds are going to Merseyside food banks in conjunction with Team DDB. A friend of mine, Danny de Brabender. Danny was diagnosed 2 years ago with stage 4 bowel cancer and is still fighting it. And so Danny's asked me if we'd be glad, if we kindly donate the money to Whittle Liverpool food banks. So it's not about people just come to see the Legends and see Jake and Gary. It's for a good cause as well. So it's going to be 5 hours, 7 o'clock till 12 bar, hot pot meal. So it's going to be Scouse, and rightly so. And then
Irish stew, you mean, is it?
Irish stew, yeah.
You mean Scouse.
And when you come in, everyone will have a sheet of paper to write a letter, to write a question on to the Legends, to ask a specific question to any of them. And Gary will help with that, reading that out and what have you. And also even asking Jake some questions, I think we sort of forget that with Jake, we sort of define him with lock, stock and two smoking barrels. There's been loads of other things, not just television, but plays and theatre and, what have you.
On that point, Keith, can I just jump in?
Yeah.
For a good few years now, I've been doing the Liverpool history show, You'll Never Walk Alone. Podrick's been to a few, which gets a great crowd. You get a lot of the staunch Liverpoolian supporters who come again and again to see the show. And we also have a lot of the legends on, like yourself. So, and we do, and a lot of it goes to good causes. So, hopefully I'll be familiar with a few of the faces that turn up, and the guys who support the play, hopefully they'll support this.
Yeah,
That's actually where we met Jake. That's where myself and Jake met back in 2014, was at the Walk Low Liverpool play at the Gaiety Theatre in Dublin.
That's right.
And that's going to be running next year as well. I've ticket booked for August next year, so
yeah,
looking forward to that as well later in the year. Have you been to that, Keith, yourself? Have you?
I haven't, mate. No, it's
We'll have to change that then. Hopefully,
he's coming to the play in the summer though. He's coming to the next one. I've got to
yeah, definitely. I'm hopefully something else that's in the pipeline as well.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, definitely. But one of the reasons as well that come along is that with the events and or the new business that's been set up, what I'm looking at is because of my past experiences and involvement with Brookside and Hollyoaks, there's a lot of people that I've met within television and film, and so with Jake, the people he knows and his contacts and everything else, so we're going to take it around as many places. There's fans of not just Lockstock, but other television programs that we can get together and just have like, I'm not sure if you've ever heard or ever been to like Comic-Con, and loads of people go to that and they get to meet the people that that they sort of the fans of, and that's what I really want to do. But I want it to be different, so we're going to be sit down, more formal, but in different places around the country. So we're going to be like Starsky and Hutch on tour, mate, aren't we?
That'd be great. I'm looking forward to it. Starsky and Hutch, excellent.
No, I was just going to ask. So people can meet the four lads and Jake and have a chat with them on a one-to-one basis as well throughout the night.
Yeah. So I uploaded a video last night. The way things stand at the present moment is that as long as everyone follows the guidelines and protocols, they've got to bring proof of vaccination. They've either got to be double or treble now. If not, they've got to do. They won't be allowed in with just one or two. With one vaccination. If they've only been vaccinated once, they've got to do a lateral flow test on entrance. That's from the requirements from the former players. They want everything to be as safe as possible for themselves. So yeah, they'll just once everyone's had a meal, we've had the raffle for the charity. They'll get to meet Jake, Gary, and the lads to be able to go up, get autographs, photographs, ask questions, and things like that. Very
good. So it's brilliant.
I think it's just an ideal opportunity for people. This is see £60. People are saying, "Oh, 60 quid, it's a lot of money." That well, actually, the event back in 2004-05 was £60, and it was nothing. I mean, it was a bit much bigger scale. It was nothing like what we're doing now. But I won't name names. Jamie Carragher recently turned a single man event over on the Whittle recently, and the tickets for an hour and a half were between £50 and £100 to sit down and watch him. £100 on the front row to watch him for an hour and a half. Now I know Jamie at the present moment is high profile, fantastic, over 700 games for Liverpool and that. But the price, you don't get a hot pot meal, you don't get different things, with 5 hours entertainment,
That's my point. And I know the lads who have come to plays, and like John Aldridge and everyone, and they're absolutely hilarious. And you're guaranteed good night out, cries of laughter, and I know we can all do with a good laugh and get out the house and enjoy yourself. And because everyone's been through it, haven't they, the last couple of years? So
that's right, mate.
I think that for me, that's priceless. Punchlines like that.
I think. Do you know what, mate? Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there. I'm sorry to talk so much, but just to try and get out as much as possible. But Aldo
and do something for charity as well. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Aldo is Aldo,
Yeah.
honest to God, once he's had a few Guinness as well. Phil Thompson, honest to God, some of the things that he tells you about going back from Shanks to Paisley. The good things with Souness, I enjoy the stories about Souness, Sky Sports, even when he was like assistant manager and caretaker manager with Robbie Fowler and David Fairclough. Some of the things that he gets to tell you is really interesting. Some of the things you don't really know about, yeah. But then you've got Jason, where he was part of the Spice Boys, and the things, honest to God, some of the stories that you hear about Jason, the things that they used to, and the things he used to come out with, are priceless. Honest to God, they're hilarious. So,
thank you. Don't give too much away.
I noticed Phil Babb wasn't on the list. That liberator, Phil Babb, another Irish player, 94 World Cup. But McAteer as well, I suppose, for anyone living in Liverpool who's Irish, like Jason McAteer, that winning goal against Holland in the World Cup 2002 qualifier at Lansdowne Road, that was an iconic goal in Irish football history. Like Holland, star-studded team like Van der Sar, Jaap Stam, Davids, Van Nistelrooy. Like, you know, on paper, Ireland had no right to compete with them, but they beat them on the day.
Yeah.
With 10 men as well. Gary Kelly got sent off.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Roy Keane actually mentioned about that, didn't he? About he done I think it's called Off the Ball with Neville, Gary Neville, and sort of made a quip about Jason living off that goal.
Yeah. Well, he did a very good ad for Head and Shoulders as well at the time over in Ireland, so he became well known for that as well. But I've seen a documentary with Jason talking about his mental health on LFC TV and stuff, and you know he's come through the wars a bit, and that's a very open and honest documentary. So I think it'd be an interesting man to sit down, and as you said, he had good stories as well from that mad era in Liverpool.
Yeah, I think it's important to state that I'm sponsoring the event with Prime Anxiety Solutions. So, if they're watching this for the first time or me, is that I'm actually a psychotherapist and counsellor. So it's my business, my other business, that is sponsoring the event. And Jason, in all seriousness, has gone through the mill. And so I think it's important that, you know, on the night that we make it sort of known that, you know, the support there, because mental health with men, especially young men, is a bit of a taboo subject in many ways, and it's a problem at the moment.
I want to put the link for our interview, Keith, into the video description, just so people can, I suppose, just get an insight into what you offer in your day job as well. And I suppose if anyone, you know, there is support there if you're feeling low or down or that you are contactable, and you have proven sessions that have worked for people, and you have testimonies from people who benefited from them. So I'll put the link in if you want to contact.
That'd be good.
I'll also put the link in for Jake for my very first interview with Jake. That's a question I'll probably be asked on the 20th. How did it feel being the first guest on the Parleo Padre podcast? I'm sure it's 10 people with that written down.
I think you've come on great, Podrick. It's going well. I think, and you know, it was a privilege to be your first guest, and it's you know, it makes me proud to see you now flying with this, you know, this Podrick's podcast. So yeah, you know, thank you, mate. Thank you.
Cheers, man. No, we developed. Looking back on it, I suppose I was just going to say at the start of this episode that you won't need to take a half day off work to watch this one, because we're going to get straight to the point. But I kind of in the episode with the interview with Jake, we covered everything possible you could imagine between Jake's childhood, growing up, mixed race, just the toxic rights, acting career, myths about Liverpool people, we had to go up Maggie Thatcher for 15, 20 minutes, Liverpool play. It's a 3-hour interview. There's some great stuff in there. Just some people that don't have the patience.
The 3-hour interview was the edited version, by the way. So.
Yes. Yeah, which is just as well you weren't on an hourly rate there. I'd be fucking broke, like. But no, it was a really good. We covered some great topics in it, and
a lot of people pull me and say, "I've seen that podcast. It was great." So people stop me on the streets when we're allowed out and say, what a good podcast it was.
Yeah, that's great to hear. But I suppose I learned from that episode to condense things or to split them up, and it's ironic actually because my longest podcast and my shortest podcast are combining in this episode, because in Keith's your one was about 40 minutes or so. So we're coming nicely in the middle meeting, like, you know.
Yeah, it's got to be short, Podrick, because that fire behind you must be burning your back.
I know, yeah. Scalded here, like, you know. But just since then, actually, since we had the chat with Jake, and it's actually been 9 months almost to the date, actually, as it happens. And
it was in the lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because, you know, it was people were sort of reaching out to each other over social media. I think because that was the only option they had, and look what came of it. Yeah, that's been the positive of it is, you know, people, at least they had social media to reach out to each other. You know, it's when we were all in the lockdown.
If there's anyone within lockdown and from COVID who've been hit the hardest, is Jake's industry, and that's the biggest travesty. And you know, it's the likes of Jake and a number of other actors that I know who I've spoken to, and even writers, you know, who were struggling. You know?
And everyone, the whole industry, and the governments were sort of late to realise that. And I mean, a lot of the funding came too little, too late. Because all the big industries were in there first. But I mean, the entertainment industry and film industry, theatre industry suffered, and they're still suffering from it. It's going to be a while before things get back to normal. Because a lot of people left the industry. Maybe a lot of other industries people did as well, and tried to change jobs to see what they can do. And it's people just trying to get back to normal, and that's where men's mental health comes into it as well, because men are supposed to put the food on the table and not being able to, and so, you know, as Paul just said, the links down below, and you know, Keith's there if you want to speak to him. And it's not, you're not weak if you ask for help mentally. This is the day we live in.
Yeah, absolutely. Men find it more difficult to open up. Well, not actually, no, that's not right. Men find it more difficult to accept that they've got problems with mental health. And just to sort of let your views and you know as well, Podrick, that even if, you know, this is going to Ireland and the UK and afar, that everything, even if you live in Ireland or wherever you are, everything I do is done remotely by video. So, you know, I've got clients in America, Canada, I've had Australia, Cambodia, because all over the place. So please, you know, just contact me, and I offer a money back guarantee. That's how confident I am in helping people and making sure that they're sort of what they're suffering with, that they sort of get over and become, I don't want to say sort of better people, but their mindset becomes better, so it does improve the way of life.
Yeah. I was just going to say as well, the money it's great work you're doing raising money for the food banks, but isn't it an awful indictment of the times we're living in and the current Tory government that food banks are still needed in 2021?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think they'll be the norm for a long time to come, because we are, you know, Podrick's a proper socialist there, and the Tory government about, you know, there's a lot of, you've got companies that are worth billions, and it seems to me that it's people, the poverty in England, the poverty line keeps lower and lower, and the people need food banks who are actually working as well. I've heard it's a sad indictment of this government.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's, I think one thing I just want to say, one of the things that, I mean, you'll know as well, Jake, is I was watching something the other day, and it's an MP who was born and bred from Liverpool, who's a Tory MP, Esther McVeigh,
I know what you mean.
and she said that food banks are a good thing, and this woman, for me, she should never be allowed anywhere near Liverpool or Merseyside as a whole.
No,
She is she's vile. She was actually
that woman. Sorry.
Yeah, honest to God, Jake, she was part of the she introduced part of the universal credit, and she people were taking their own lives, especially on Merseyside, because of struggling with the universal credit, and the government gave back in, I think it was an extra £20 a week during lockdown and because of COVID, and it was actually from her recommendation to take the extra funding and what benefits top up. It was from her recommendation, and she's an absolute embarrassment to.
She's another Margaret Thatcher, but it's embarrassing that she's from our, from the northwest. I won't even say the other thing. She doesn't come from the same town as I come from. She if she had a way, if she had worse than Margaret Thatcher. But a lot of these politicians enjoy being, the baddie. They sort of enjoy it. But for me, just don't vote for them. If you've got any sense, just don't vote for these people.
Yeah, she seems to thrive off it, doesn't she, Jake?
Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at that now, from what we've got, I mean, we've got this absolute clown in charge. He's even said himself to people, how the hell is he Prime Minister? Yeah. But how can you abide by the rules and the laws that they're bringing in when they're breaking in themselves? When you've just seen that last Christmas, we were all being told, you cannot do this, you cannot mix, you've got to abide by this, that, and the other, and they're having parties in 10 Downing Street.
He preached and told us what to do, and for like months, right through the lockdown, and then he's kissing one of the secretaries in
the health secretary,
what sorry, it wasn't coming to Cummins, was it?
Well, Cummins went to Newcastle, didn't he, during lockdown with COVID?
Yeah, he went.
And he had COVID.
Yeah, he went for a holiday while everyone was locked indoors. You were told you couldn't have your grandmother over for Christmas dinner.
Yeah.
You're told that you couldn't have another household, so grandmothers or distant relations couldn't come on Christmas Day. That just ruins. Yeah,
it's just it's a joke. I know this is like we're talking about the events and we're going off a little bit off thing, but
let's get back to the event.
But we just very quickly on the socialist the socialist side of me is that how you can vote for a bunch of lying hypocrites, and even to the point where they're all through the back door on all these lining pockets of all the friends, things like that, is riles me. And I tell you something, on the event night, you'll probably get a few of the well, I know all the lads will have a view about that as well.
They'll have to say, won't they?
Yeah.
Not wanting to lower the tone, but it was very funny where there at that time where Boris was trying to defend Cummings after the trip to Newcastle, was it, that he wasn't meant to have made. And there was like a screenshot of the two of them and a thumbnail for a video on Pornhub saying, "Submissive blonde can't stop coming."
Brilliant.
Do you know what that reminded? But what you were saying there a while ago about how they were preaching to everyone about not to be doing this and that, and they're doing it themselves. That reminded me of that scene in Animal Farm near the end.
Yes,
the pigs are taking over the farmyard.
Sorry, and the line is everybody is some more than others, which is from Animal Farm.
Yeah,
and they are small and greedy pigs. That's all will add them off to all.
Absolutely.
Some animals are equal, but some animals more equal than others. Yes. Yeah, but it was like that scene, like when the other animals kind of came in and caught all the pigs eating all the food, you know, kind of having a feast when the rest were being starved and being rationed, like, you know, it kind of reminded me of that, you know. So I suppose just mentioned that since Jake was last in the podcast, we had a trip to Anfield there in August for the Chelsea game.
Yeah, I think because I went, they drew. So but it was a great day project, wasn't it? I felt like a stowaway. And seeing as I'll be doing a bit for Everton, which I won't go into. I'll do it on another thing. But yeah, it was a great day, wasn't it? Positive.
Yeah.
We walked all the way back to Kensington, back to your hotel, and yeah, it was a lovely day. Last time I can remember it being warm and sunny. Actually, that day it was great.
Yeah. No, there's a very good video which I link in as well of us singing "Never Walk Alone," and Jake was belting it out, and
oh yeah,
I think it was around your birthday as well, so it was great.
Yes, that's right.
It was a Saturday evening at 5:30. Pat as well, give a shout out to Pat. There's a photograph of us at the Shankly statue.
Right.
My friend
Hello,
Pat.
Shout out to Pat. All right, mate. Hope you're okay.
After we left you that evening there walking up, she was putting us to shame. Like, she's in her 70s, but myself and Michael in our 30s, she was leading us down the road, like we were trying to keep up with her, like, you know. So
we were looking for the taxi. She was ready to walk.
Walk back to West Arden. But no, it was great. It was great. It was great to get 4 tickets in a row as well for Liverpool games, especially Chelsea. And it was just at that time, it just goes to show, like, people weren't traveling from other countries. You know, there was a lot of availability for tickets, and it's not as easy now as maybe it was then. But it was a great experience to be there with you, Jake, in Anfield, and a great ticket.
We're guaranteed to bring some of that atmosphere this so, you know, get your tickets and get down there. It's going to be a great night. We'll have a really good laugh, and let's move on with our lives and have a ball and talk football. And have a good drink and something to eat and have a great night. Spoil yourself; it's worth it.
Yeah.
It was funny, actually. We were singing "Fuck the Tories" in in Anfield that night. That kind of came up. Yeah. It's funny, actually. Obviously, I'm not Scouse myself, but I would hate the Tories just as much as he would, despite living in a different country.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, you have felt it as well. So
yeah, I think when I done my podcast, we touched on. I know you did with Jake and his as well, about, you know, the Thatcher years especially, and the Tory years growing up, because I think we're similar age, aren't we, Jake? Aren't we? I'm 51. You're not, you know.
Well, I'm a little bit older, Keith.
Yeah, I know you're a little bit older, mate. Yeah, I'll keep reminding you.
If I was looking as sharp as you when I'm 51, I'd be happy out anyway. Like, you know.
I don't know you. I don't know you any money, do I? Thank you very much, very kind. Thank you. But, you know, I remember saying I was in Menorca with me parents and my son at the time, and news came through that she passed down to the lower emblems, and and we raised the glass to her.
Yeah,
ding dong, the witch is dead.
I'm sure she's toasty and warm anyway at the minute. You know, I'd say she's hotter than what it is behind my back there. I'd say wherever she is.
Isn't she in there? I can just see the
her ashes are there. You know, I'm going to drink
with a bloody broomstick.
Yeah. I'll get you, my pretties. So look,
she did. Yeah, she did. She ruined our city. She did. Well, actually, she tried to.
Well, actually, you know, as me and Podrick were saying on the last podcast, it was a planned event. You know, the managed decline of Merseyside. That was, you know, it's written in black and white now forever. Yeah. You know, and that was leaked. So it wasn't in our imagination. We aren't just bitter Scousers. We were trod on. We were labelled as militants, as subversives, and we were singled out by that government to ruin the city. And luckily, through tourism and entertainment and all the like football or what we're talking about, it's coming back, and it has it's again, it's a great city to live in. You know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. And you know what? From my side, I think a lot of people are jealous of Liverpool and Merseyside as a whole. They're jealous of how we are as people. But what's made us even more popular is Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah.
And honestly, God, I do think that people, who sort of didn't like Liverpool or didn't associate with Liverpool like that, love him. So now, not only do they love him, but they sort of have a bit of a love for Liverpool.
Yeah, he's Shankly incarnate, like,
Modern day.
There's a modern day Shankly, like.
Yeah.
Just in terms, you mentioned David Fairclough earlier. We have our own version of David Fairclough for the 21st century generation in Divock Origi. Maybe being a bit harsh on David Fairclough there with that, but he did the business again last week.
Yeah.
Against Wolves.
Yeah, I was one of an advocates of trying to get rid of him in the summer. I thought, just get rid of him. He's useless. Proved me wrong. He's proved a lot of people wrong, doesn't he? He just seems to keep coming back. And I think with Dave, the difference with Dave, he was quite consistent. Dave, unfortunately with him, Dave had obviously Rushy, Terry Mack, Davy Johnson, Kenny, even Paul Walsh, because I think Paul came in for one season with Dave. But Dave wasn't happy being. He actually didn't enjoy being super sub. He wanted to be. He wants to start the games, and he went in to see Bob Paisley quite a few times and said, "Look, Gaff, I want to play, I want to start." But I think within football, you will always get someone who seems to come on and have an impact from the bench rather than not a 90-minute player.
Like Solskjaer for United back in the day was great sub. Like.
Yeah, Ollie's at the wheel, yeah.
See, the game we were at, Jake, I remember after the game being disappointed, not winning that match, and I remember being really impressed by Chelsea and thinking that they're going to be really hard to beat in the title race, the fact they hung on for a point. At this point, now the tails have turned a bit. Can Liverpool win the league this year? Both of you.
I don't want to say it. I mean, every time I think they do, they don't. Something, for the last part of the season. So I'm not going to say anything. I just want them to.
Okay. What's your thoughts, Keith? Can we do it?
We're going to win it, and I'm telling you now that me and Jake will be in the bar at the end of May, having a drink, celebrating. I'm telling you now, we're going to be on the road with our tour, and we're going to be having a drink, celebrating as champions. And this time, we'll be able to have a parade with the bus and the trophy, enjoying it. Yeah. That's what's going to happen this year. Telling you.
Okay. And you mentioned, I've changed my mind. I'm with Keith. I've changed my
mind. And guys, you mentioned this tour could be coming across the Emerald Isle as well, hopefully.
Yeah. So what I'm looking at doing is having Aldo, Ronnie Whelan, Ray Houghton, Steve Staunton, and Jason come over. We're looking at Dublin, Galway, Limerick, Cork, around those areas. Jake coming with me as well. These are going to be huge venues, so it's not going to be 100 people like the pilot. We're looking at 1,500 at least people coming to the event in a large venue. A lot different to what we're doing at the present moment, and having maybe Gary come along on those as well, and making it a huge event. But yeah, probably over 3 nights doing it over now and see how it goes, and then maybe do a few more and have a few Guinness as well.
Very good. You'll be able to see your ancestors, Jake, as well when you come down to Cork.
Yes, my grandmother's from County Cork, Tralee. Sorry, it's from Tralee. Yeah, my dad, you've made a few pilgrims over there. I'd love to go back as well. So yeah, that would be wonderful.
So, any help I can be when that time comes as well, lads, would just let me know, and we'll try and organise something. And I'll definitely come to one of the nights, if not two, when you are over. What role will you be playing on the night, Jake, on the 20th of December? Will you hosting it?
I'll be asking a few questions. Questions to the players.
The MC, one might say.
I'm sort of MC, yeah, and I might even get my guitar out. You never know, and I won't kill anyone. But yeah, sort of, I've got a load of stories about football as well. into the acting industry. But yeah, I'd like to MC and pass some questions on. Yeah.
As you can see in the background, he's practicing already on the guitar, so he's getting the chords nicely tuned. So. All right, guys. So listen, thanks a million for coming on this evening. I'm going to put the link. So just to confirm again, it's in the Montgomery Bar, East Ham in the Wirral at 7 o'clock on the 20th of December. And
it'll be a brilliant night. Come and meet Jake. He's a top lad. You'll love it. It'll just be brilliant. I promise you, you'll love it. You'll love it.
Yeah, I can make that promise because I know the guests we're having on. It's going to be a great night. And as I said before, come and spoil yourselves. You've had a tough time over it lately, so come, get out, enjoy yourself with a drink, and then meet some of your childhood heroes. So get out there. I'll get over there and see you. Thanks.
That'll be safe. Everything's going to be safe. We're going to have the protocols. We're going to be safe. But you know what? More than anything, let's just have a bloody good time.
So, guys, just check it out. We make a great Christmas. If you're looking for a present for a red or a blue, even probably better a red. Probably better if there's a family member or friend you're stuck for a gift for.
Yes.
Want to take for a night out. 5 days before Christmas spirit, Christmas. I'm sure the Pogues will get an air near the end as well. Maybe if we play fair. So yeah.
Thanks for having me,
Keith and Jay, thanks a million for coming on the show again this evening. Great to see you again. We'll be in touch anyway again for other episodes to touch base with you again. So don't forget to like, subscribe, click notifications bell. I've started vlogging, football vlogging now as well. Did my first game in Glasgow last week. I missed the Merseyside derby as I was at another game, Hibs and Rangers, but yeah, I saw the last couple of minutes in the bar, and the lads took care of business without me anyway, so that's great. So if you could, I'll put the link for that in as well. So if you could pop a like and subscribe as well, there, guys, be much appreciated. So thanks a million again to Keith and Jake for joining us.
Thanks very much for that.
Thanks, Podrick.
And we'll see you next time in the Parlay with Padre podcast. Good night. God bless.
All the best.
Take care. Stay safe, well.